They're hilarious, but once they're kind of
that's a great way to start.
one-off.
I got that. I was just looking to see where the levels are in Fair. It was like in the middle of his burp, in the middle of the fucking.
You gaseous.
That's a great.
You great big ball of gas.
You do a cover of Down with the Sickness, but you have burps instead of.
Did you see Through the Tables and Memes? It's a thing about Through the Fire and the Flames, but it's a giant meme song that at the beginning, like when it starts, it does that. It's like with the guitar, like in the 16th notes. It's pretty great. It's pretty hilarious.
I remember
definitely check it out.
when Guitar Hero 3 came out and everybody was jamming Through the Fire and Flames on that game, and they're like, "This is the peak of my life."
Dude,
For
they're
some
also
kids, it
like,
was.
this is like the definitive like metal song, and it's like, no, it really is not.
It's not even that. It's not even that great.
It's not even that great. It's really is not that
Yo,
great.
super discount Iron Maiden's not even good. I called them super discount. Dude, they're like dollar store Iron
Did you
Maiden.
really just compare Dragon Force to Iron Maiden? Did you really just
I
compare
had somebody-
the almighty Dragon Force to the clearly inferior Iron Maiden?
Name one more Dragon Force song.
All of us look blankly into the distance.
Yeah.
It's like, name 2 Beatles songs. Oh, wait a minute. Anybody can do that.
No, dude. Here comes the
Painted
sun,
Black?
and like what else? Painted Black.
I love the
No,
Kinks,
Stairway to
man.
Heaven. What are you talking about?
That's true. All right. That's.
They did that song Lola, right?
You start with that.
La,
They
la,
did that
la,
song
la,
Lola, right?
Wow, this is like a YouTube poop. But
This is YouTube Poop the movie.
YouTube, hi, we're back. I'm back. It's been a while. You've recorded podcasts
I
without
have.
me, but you know. I'm
Way
not-
she goes,
I'm not,
Randers.
I'm not
with
offended or
or
anything.
without
Way she goes.
you.
This has
So-
been masterful.
This
so
is
far.
yeah. So far, it's been great.
We have.
We're guys, and we're gonna talk about some stuff. It's me, Josh. It's Alex,
Yo.
Fair, and it's special guest Derek.
Derek, the guy in the hat.
He doesn't have a last name. He's just Derek.
This has been so amazing.
Different things. It's actually quite different because for once we're doing it in my house. That's only happened one other time.
One other time.
And we have better microphones. I got a second Audio Technica and a Studio Project C1 that I'm talking on, and the boys are talking on Audio Technica 4040s.
And my XLR cable on my.
Oh, and Fair's XLR cable. That's right.
The
because
defining
because my
ingredient.
Audio Technica one took a crap, and I was very, very sad.
My Studio One box XLR cable, top of the line, baby.
Top of the line.
Top of the
absolutely.
line.
Better than that HOSA cable that Derek's talking into right now. The thing's a sporty piece of crap, but it
Oh.
just works well enough to be a functional microphone
I got
cable.
the spare.
Right.
Talk about these scars.
So today we're talking about. It's actually really good timing that I have like now everyone gets a really solid quality microphone because now we're talking about Neil Breen. Our first
The master of
podcast on
quality.
my best equipment is about Neil Breen. How do you figure that one?
Breeenious.
Sheer Breeenious.
Yeah, sheer Breeenious.
So, Fair, you want to go through every movie just like in chronological order?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna attack this.
We're gonna
in,
attack.
in an order that Brain can't understand chronologically.
All of his films that have been on the Silver Breen.
Okay, so where do we begin? Is it
We're
I
starting
Am Here Now? Oh, no, it's Double Down. isn't it?
double down.
2000
2005.
2005. Very, it's a weird time for movies, 2005.
It is.
Isn't it? Because, like when I think of early 2000s movies, the first movie I ever watched was the first Hulk movie.
Ang Lee's
So,
the
like,
Hulk.
the Ang Lee's Hulk. So, like, that's my, like, impression of, like, what a movie should look like. And Neil Breen does not give that era of movies
His
compliment.
movie looks at least 10 to 20 years older
It
than
looks
what
like
is.
it was done in like 1999 at least.
on like really cheap. The first movie, I gotta be honest, he shot the first one on film, and it actually looks better than the rest of his movies.
Did he do it on film?
Yeah, the first one's in
Oh,
film because
okay.
digital was new. It was really expensive. You didn't want to shoot on digital. he shot it on film, and I actually think it gives it an actual quality to it that on
Quote,
digital.
unquote,
You just say that Neil Breen is
quality.
quality.
I'm giving him credit for one decision, and it wasn't on purpose.
Okay.
He accidentally made a choice that I favor.
He accidentally did something good for his movies.
Well, because with digital, you go in and you color it yourself. You're trying to go for a style, something going on. And he, shooting on film, gave it some coloration that gives it some form of quote-unquote quality.
I like how it has that sepia tone tint.
Yeah.
Although it's mostly filmed in a desert, so it
Okay.
would look
You don't
tan.
even-
Okay,
anyway.
so Double Down is the one about the guy on the run. Like,
Yeah.
and he's trying. He's got a plan to like
Hack government secrets.
well hack government
Just
secrets, but there was
about.
also like spread a disease in the water supply to like Vegas or something
Yeah,
like
he's
that,
a
right?
bad guy. I mean, like
He's like an
he's-
eco-terrorist, but he's trying to get the bad
for anyone
guys.
that doesn't know,
He's an
Neil
anti-hero.
Breen has this great habit of making himself like basically invincible in every movie he has. Like he's like a normal guy, but he's such an expert hacker that like the government won't even try to pursue him because they know that he's so good at hacking everything that he could like hack drones out of the air and destroy them, or like he could like set off a nuke if he wanted to. Like he's so good, they're just like, yeah, we shouldn't. He has like a force. Didn't he say that one? But he has like a force field around him at all times.
Yeah, and it just kills people instantly.
Yeah,
In fact, the
like,
one guy
he's-
comes up to the line, and then I think his eyes start bleeding.
Yeah, no, he just falls over. and
dead.
dies.
he cures a girl's cancer in this movie.
He does.
I mean,
Well, he thought he
Through
cured. He thought he cured a
unknown
girl's
means.
cancer.
but like, and then she dies, and he's like, I think he goes like, yeah, no, she died. And he's just like, no, that's like not true. Well, he's like,
That's
that's
not
not
right.
That's not right. I know I did something. Like,
Yeah.
I should have wrote that quote down, but
Yeah,
he
no,
says
that-
something. These movies are hysterical.
I think for the folks at home, a little background on why Neil Breen is a topic of interest. If anyone's ever seen Tommy Wiseau's The Room or any of his other films, that is a masterpiece compared to the film series done by Neil Breen. Neil
Absolutely.
Breen is so much worse.
Impossible.
It is a
no.
league of its own.
When Fair first introduced me to Neil Breen, I think I had already seen The Room. Like I think for my, when I turned 18, either I went to your house and you either showed me The Room or you showed me Fateful Findings. I don't remember which one. It might have been Fateful Findings, but I remember like just seeing the comparison of the two. I didn't think anything could be worse than Tom. I was like, there could be worse, but it's gonna be really hard for someone with a budget to like make it worse, and he did it.
yeah.
My God,
Yeah.
he
The Room
fucking did it.
is the Citizen Kane of bad movies. Neil Breen is like Plan 9 from outer space of bad movies.
Yeah, no, he's
Yeah.
and Double Down is.
That's just number
it's hard
one.
to argue like the scene in the movie that I think best encompasses like a Neil Breen, like what you can expect is that when that scene where he's with his wife in the pool, or soon to be wife,
Oh,
and
yes.
he
Yeah.
asks her to marry him,
Yep.
and then the sniper kills her, and that first of all that overly distorted scream because he was too loud and the mic picked it up, that was so fake.
Hers
Then
or
as
his?
he's there, like she didn't scream at all, he screamed.
Oh yeah, she just
She
like
just went.
silent.
She
just,
got shot in the
"Ugh,"
spine. Just
and
went
then,
completely.
and then he
silent.
just goes like, he like audibly grunts.
And then there's like various imagery of like him holding a flower with the blood on it, and he drops it in the pool, and he's rubbing the blood on his face, and then he's laying like face down in the pool as she is also
Yeah.
laying face down in the
Yeah.
pool, floating
His
next to the
body's
dead
next to
body,
her
like as
corpse.
if he were dead too, but like he's not dead. It looks completely dumb.
It's about dying for a cause.
Well, the funny thing is
it's
that
so true.
And then there was that one thing scene with the anthrax where he just takes like the like powder that he uses for the anthrax and just like washes it. It's like, oh, sorry, and like rubs it on them, but it's very obvious that he splashes anthrax on someone's arm as he walks past them.
He shakes like a pack of baby powder on him. Basically, it's that much. Like,
You know, it was a lot,
Yeah.
and like he was wearing a glove, and I'm like, there's like that got on you. Are you nuts?
There is
Are
no
you
way
insane?
any of this could realistically.
It's a powder
happen.
form too. Like no one else saw that. No, people saw that. It was very, very obvious. And very, very stupid. And then is that the one? No, that's not the one where he reversed aging on that one guy. That was
No, that's the next
That is
one.
Right.
Well,
We'll get to that.
well.
What,
oh,
do you,
I
what
forgot.
do you have to say about Double Down?
Look what I forgot, Josh.
Oh yeah, you
I'm just gonna put like 100 of them on there.
We'll explain that joke later.
So, to me, what I love about Double Down, I think it's one of his best movies. I'd put it like, well, I'll put it like,
Oof.
it's not in his top two. I could tell you right away what my top two favorite Breen movies are. It's not even quite a question, but it's like right after them.
Is this favorite as in? This isn't favorite as in like you think it's the better of them, or you think it's just because it's so hysterically bad. Right?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what we mean by better, right?
I mean, I'm
Okay,
not sitting
okay.
here
I was
like,
just
yo,
like-
this is contending with Terminator 2. Like, Terminator 2 got nothing on Breen.
All right. Well, I wasn't gonna put you to that.
I mean,
But-
Orson Welles, move over for Neil Breen.
Alfred Hitchcock got nothing on the
He's a man of sheer Breeenious.
Yeah, Double Down, it's just this crazy explosion of a movie where scenes just kind of happen. A very characteristic thing of Breen's movie.
Yeah, things just kind of happen.
They just happen.
That's very much a Neil Breen thing.
Yeah. The
It's
movie starts and then the movie ends and then just random stuff happens in between.
It's very like it's full of filler. There's so many filler shots of
the
of
whole
just like
movie is filler.
of like well no
Half the movie is the fan cuts of these
Literally,
movies are 45
there are
minutes
fan
long.
cuts
less than that.
on
Some of them are
YouTube.
like one of them's like half an hour long, or like
I
I think one of them is
think-
even like 27
I
minutes.
think
or
it was
something like
I Am Here Now, and it was 45 minutes as compared to the hour and a half of the regular version.
It's funny, like
It was
all those
literally
movies are
trimmed
like an
down.
hour and a half.
Oh, yeah, every
Aren't
single
they?
one is.
I don't think any of them reach 2 hours. I'm pretty sure they're all.
They're
Like,
still
I'll check
feature
right now.
length.
I think they're all
Pretty
legitimately,
sure
like,
the average
all of them are
like,
90.
the average runtime is 90 minutes.
Okay,
But
Double
most-
Down is an hour and 33 minutes.
Okay.
Fateful Findings, real quick, is an hour and 40 minutes.
Okay.
Twisted Pair is an hour and 29 minutes. Pass
Wow,
through,
that movie felt
Yeah.
like it was so much longer.
Pass through an hour and a half.
That one went on forever. Oh,
Okay, yeah, we'll get to pass
to that
through.
one.
We'll jump down that rabbit hole later. But yeah, Double Down is a blast of a movie. I highly suggest. It might be a good starter spot for people who aren't ready to go full Breen yet.
See, I have my. I'll give my order later. I disagree with you on that. I have my order though.
Okay.
Double Down is definitely not at the beginning. That's a little too autistic, I think, to start.
It's not as well. It's not as bad. It's like it's not as bad. He might have gotten worse as a filmmaker as time went on, because I think you know why. Here's where I'm coming from. Actually, it's not him. Double Down, he shot with a real cinematographer on real film, and he had an editor do it because he couldn't cut the film. So he had a real editor, a real cinematographer, and worked with some real people.
Okay, what I just heard is that a real like professional editor allowed that movie to exist, and that's not okay.
It's mildly better than his other movies because of those
in
little
terms
things.
of production value,
That's
it's the better movie because all of the
yeah.
rest are just home movies
That is
done
one
on.
of the
like,
one of the better
Yeah.
made films
Yeah.
as far as certain things go. Okay, so then we have the second movie, I Am Here Now. This movie, by the way, is utterly impossible to find. Like
Yeah.
his old thing with like buying movies is that please like it's Fateful Fight. He's like please like in the comment. I don't know how you send comments on PayPal, but you can do that, and then tell me the name of the movie you want.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure out how to do that.
Oh, man.
And the only way I found it is someone was selling it on eBay,
Wow.
and I bought it. And it was a lot of money. He charges like $30 for his films, by the way.
Yeah, I
Like
know,
not
it's
even
crazy.
like Blu-ray, like just like
and it's
stock,
and it's like done on a CDR or something.
Yeah.
like a stock DVD, like just mine was
480p
like
tops.
mine was like a white faced DVD.
It was like
I've never-
120p. I'm sorry.
I've never seen anything like
Or
it.
like one.
So
It was one.
I Am Here Now.
I think
No,
you
no,
mean
no, no.
I.
You're saying it wrong,
Yeah,
Josh.
I am here
now.
Let it be to
There
the
are
twins
literally
to do that.
four
Well, not twins.
periods in the ellipses in the
There
title.
are 4 dots in the beginning. And I
Yeah.
have a video of Derek.
It is-
Somewhere in the world, there's a video of Derek going, wait, dot, and like saying each individual
Dot.
dot as it comes up.
Dot.
As we
Dot.
absolutely.
Dot.
We lost
Dot.
our
Now.
shit watching this
The
movie.
opening of that movie we were already crying, laughing.
There was
Like,
at least
I was
5
losing
minutes
it.
of stock footage, background,
Much
like
more than that, I think.
screensaver stuff.
No, it was definitely like just that's one thing that Breen's movie does to pan the runtime. It's just establishing shots, which is a characteristic of like all bad movies. It's just
And stock footage.
stock footage of
It's
just
stock
in
footage,
areas
yeah.
that have absolutely nothing to do with the setting or anything
Yeah.
like that. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's just like
I think
random.
it was.
just,
I
like,
think it was still.
panning
I Am
of
Here
something
Now,
else.
where you see the same windmill farm like 20 times.
I think so. Yeah.
Like it's the same shot, folks. It's not even like different angles or what. It's
So-
the same.
so that
clip.
movie
and
was
dolphins for no reason, just dolphins.
So that movie was about what do we want to call it?
Cyber Jesus
robot
shows up.
robot Jesus. That's basically what
With
it
a
was.
zombie
he was using
mask?
he was
With a
using the symbolism of Jesus Christ with the he
created
he
the
crucified people.
universe.
He crucified people at the end of the movie. He wore a white robe. He said that he's giving humanity a second chance, and that he'll be back if they don't if they
Yeah.
don't straighten up their act with the corruption. Corruption is the
corruption is a
word,
theme in like all of these
that-
movies.
but, like,
Pay attention. That's a
it
key word.
Super started, I think, in this one. Like it was worse in
Yes.
Double Down than it was in. It was worse in this one than it was in Double Down. 100%.
Yeah, because I Am Here Now, it's like you just see a little bit of that, but the rest of them, it's all over the place.
It's I'm speechless.
It's
This
like-
is where Breen starts flipping that switch of, okay, Double Down's a bad movie that has a few crazy moments with where are you? Where are you? I Am
Where
Here
are
Now
you?
has like baby heads, crucifixions,
Okay.
hookers.
Yeah, there are
something
doll
I want
heads
to
in the desert for no
something
reason.
I want to say about that. I saw an interview with him where they asked him what the doll heads mean and why they're there, and you know what his response was? It was, "Well, what do you think it means?"
You tell me what
He left it there for the audience to interpret what it means. So even he doesn't have a purpose in having it there. He literally did not answer the question. He's just like, "What do you think it means?"
He just
Like,
wanted
that's
it
up
to
you.
look artistic.
I think that's literally all it was. It was just to look like
this
it
is
was
to look
cooler
cool and
than it
artistic.
actually was.
People will find a meaning
Well,
there.
he did
Yeah.
that one where he was talking with a guy about the budget, and he's like, "Well, what do you
Oh,
think
right.
the budget was?"
You tell me what you think the budget was, and I'll tell you if that makes sense budgetarily. Like those are his
Did
words.
he actually say that?
Yeah, that was
said
his
budgetary.
direct
Oh,
response.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, that was what he said.
His movies
I
can't have
paraphrased,
more
but
than like a
that's what he said.
$5,000 budget. Like
His first one apparently had like a $75,000 budget, which makes sense because if you're paying for an editor and a cinematographer, that's money
Now,
real
isn't
quick.
he
out
an
the door.
architect? That's how he makes his
Yeah,
money.
I think the rest of them are all like 10 grand or 20 grand or something.
that's still too
that's
much.
way
That's
too much.
way
Filmed
too
on a
much.
handy cam.
I mean, I could do a better job.
He
No
does
joke.
provide catering for people though.
With us three,
Oh,
we could make a better movie tonight than Breen with a handheld iPhone.
That's probably true.
It's probably
Yeah.
true.
So, I Am Here Now. The stick out. See, first of all, this movie I think was the worst. It's hard to say. This is like this is going in chronological order. The amount of like background actors and their ability to act plummets. Not a single person in this movie can even try to look like they can act. Like I'm serious. Like there was that one scene with the girls were like walking down the strip and the guy in the bike was checking out. And he literally just goes, "Whoa!"
And just
falls.
falls.
over. They
Yeah.
turn around, laugh at him, and he just again he like on the ground. He's, Whoa! Like it's
Yeah.
so unbelievably like you'd have to be
Awful.
joking to like be that
You
bad.
have to
couldn't be
try
that
to be
bad.
bad.
I couldn't.
Ooh, my favorite bad acting scene in that movie was where there's an old guy in a wheelchair and he's going up to the Welcome to Las Vegas sign, and then he bumps into this big burly guy. Apparently runs over his foot. The guy goes,
Yeah.
"Oh, my foot!" and then just pushes the guy over. And then Neil Breen comes up, grabs the burly guy's arm, and says, "That's just not right."
And then he
And
does
that makes
that-
his eyes like bleed.
But in order to do that, he does they use the same shot over and over again of Breen just like looking off into the
Yeah,
distance
he
and like
stands there in front
twerking,
of like a blue
tweaking his
sky,
head.
just tilts his head,
He tilts his
and
head
stuff
one way,
happens.
and like a light,
Yeah.
like a random light happens, and then
he
the guy's
looks like
eyes
a bird
bleed,
just
and he
moving
runs
its
away.
head. Like
So the main like plot of this movie, I can't believe this movie.
Quote,
It's
the
unquote,
audacity.
It's just like it's a group of people who like a group of what do you want to call them? Gangsters, thugs, like whatever
corrupt
they are.
politicians,
Corrupt politicians, sure.
and officials.
Well, they're kind of doing that. They have
our
a whole bunch of
fellow
stuff
corrupt
going on.
corporate and government officials.
Basically, yeah.
Generic bad guy terms.
And these two
Yeah.
girls come on, and they're like, all of a sudden, they're like they're hookers for everyone there, and like it's like okay,
Apparently.
that's weird.
Well, she started as like a scientist for Earth development and stuff, and then it's like, oh, I lost my job. Guess I'm a hooker.
Yeah, but like
That's
she's
And
there-
her
the-
pregnant, or her sister who has a fake baby. It's literally a baby doll.
Yeah.
it literally is.
They
yeah,
couldn't
no,
afford
it
an
is a
actual
doll.
baby.
They couldn't afford.
The sad
a
thing is they
baby.
reused that baby for American Sniper. So I love American Sniper, but yeah, no, that was funny.
This
Fake
is
baby.
terrible.
God,
stuff.
what else happens in the movie?
Right before the scene you're talking about, the
Yeah.
voice acting. The guy, he's like, I want to see the sign. I only have a week to live.
And then,
Oh, yeah, that-
and then Breen literally like makes him like cures him of his PTSD by like touching, and like he stands up out of his wheelchair and he's like 10 years younger.
No, he's
Oh,
like 4
he went
years
from like 60 to 20.
He loses
He goes
like
from old
40
man to, like,
years.
our age.
It's
Yeah, and then doesn't he
crazy.
go off with the one girl then?
Yeah.
He
The one
goes
with
off
the fake
one of
baby.
yeah, he goes off with one of the hooker girls. And then at the end, basically the movie ends and Breen is just like, I will give them one more chance. Like he's giving humanity a second chance to get their act together before he comes back and destroys humanity. And that's literally like cyborg Jesus is pretty much it. Because you see a part of him at one point, he's literally like a cyborg. Like he's got like he took a bunch of like motherboards
Yeah.
and like taped them on himself, and like you see it under the robe for like a part of a scene. He like shows his hands. It's so weird. Then there's at one point where he's like a zombie and like the face changes and he's like this scary looking thing. Like this demonic, like this creature.
It's
or
literally
Frank- whatever
like
it
a
is.
Frankenstein mask
When he's
from Halloween
when
Adventure.
he's having sex with the one girl,
He's
he
wearing the-
changes. Like for like a split second, and you're like, what? People at home right now have
They
an
now
impression of
know
like how
my
how this
true
movie looks in
form.
their head, but they have no idea how
You are not
actually
prepared.
awful like the scene. Like the
Don't worry.
scene changes
If
are.
you watch the real movie, it'll still be just as confusing. If
No,
not
please,
more
please for the love of
confusing.
God, watch the actual movie. You'll get a much better sense of how actually awful the cinematography
Yeah.
is.
If you've ever called a movie pretentious, pop this movie in.
Yeah.
You will never use that term again because
yeah.
this just on a whole other level of just, well, I don't know what I'm doing, but it looks cool to me, but I'm going to say it's cool.
This-
I'm going to say it means something more.
This
Yeah,
movie
that's Breen.
operates on the principle of it seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah,
That's kind of fair.
they probably wing everything. Like the acting seems like maybe they came up with lines just standing there because the way they're delivered, I could not possibly imagine an actor or anybody being able to, hi, I am a corporate politician. I'm evil. And there's just lines like that from characters that are just
Hello,
like, let's
my
do
fellow
evil thing.
people.
Let's
Like,
buy
the-
some hookers
who
and
says-
cocaine.
Well, I mean, the
and
girl
spread
that's
disease.
supposed to be afraid of like the one guy when he's shooting like her like ex-boyfriend or
Oh, yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah,
and
that
she
guy.
just literally just stands there completely emotionless and screams. It almost looks like she's about to laugh because she knows it's bad.
You mean this dead piece of garbage?
It's literally
young.
it's the worst
Yeah,
thing.
when she screams about it, her first thought is, he was so young. It's like, this is your boyfriend who's been shot to
and,
death.
And half the times that this gang, which apparently meets up in the same part of town in front of this demolished building,
Isn't it like right by a bridge or something like that too? Like isn't
yeah,
it
it's
pretty,
like by an
pretty
overpass
well
or
in
something.
plain sight?
And Neil Breen's like hanging out in that old abandoned building like half of the time.
That is true.
Just
He's like,
watching
he's
these
like living
gangsters
there.
do
They
yeah.
stuff.
got
It's
two
like, what?
locations, let's be honest. There's
Yeah.
there's like the outside the corporate building early in the
I
movie.
think you mean the green screen.
the green screen. And then
Breen
that later.
screen.
You know what's funny? I mean, like,
green screen.
Neil Breen's like, I know how politicians are. I will accurately depict them in my movies. And they just get into a car together and they're like, how can we do evil shit? Like,
That's- yeah.
straight up.
The movie has an ultimate sense of like pretentious in the sense that like you start to like think that Neil Breen himself is pretentious because of how like on a like plateau he puts himself.
Yeah.
Like, you know, zombie Jesus, come on, man.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah,
get
but-
much more pretentious than zombie.
I Am Here
Jesus.
Now. I think of the. I thought for a while I Am Here Now was the worst one. Like,
But
Worst to
no.
watch
It
or
was-
worst in terms of quality?
Yes. Because
I think it's a good
I think
quality.
I think the worst. I think the worst like quality is probably I Am Here Now. That's
It
fine.
probably is.
Worst to watch. We'll get to that.
We'll
but,
get to that later.
Okay, so if you go check, if you can find this movie for the love of God, please watch it.
Oh yeah.
or at least the fan
we're
cut,
getting-
because then you'll just skip all the.
If you well, no,
Clips
I think you gotta.
No,
have the,
you need the B-roll,
you
man.
need to lose the half hour, the like extra hour of your life. Like
It'll teach you something.
You need all the stock footage. I need dolphins floating around for no reason.
it'll really
seven
give
times.
it'll really give you a set. That's right. There are just random one of them in the
there's
dolphin. The
windmills,
dolphins going
dolphins.
around. One of them takes a shit. Did you notice that?
I never
In
did.
like the scene where it's like going around, like yeah, one of them takes a shit like randomly. It's
That's
hilarious. You have to watch for it again.
Wow.
No. The shit identifies the human soul and the embrace of what that means
outta
to be.
here.
I was gonna say, don't give this
Shut
movie too
your
much
mouth.
credit, because that at least teaches
Okay.
me something about dolphin biology.
Okay, so next on this wonderful list is, in my opinion, the best made and most watchable, like the best overall
The most
Neil Breen
entertaining
film.
one.
Maybe the most entertaining
Well,
one. Fateful Findings.
We might
My
have a debate
personal
later.
favorite.
We'll get to that one.
See,
Yeah.
okay, this. All right, for those at home, this movie it used to be on YouTube. It's not anymore. It's very
This
sad.
movie
I think
changed
he-
my life.
I think he copyright struck it because it used to just be on YouTube
Yeah.
and you could just watch it like at
Yeah.
like 240p quality,
Cough,
which
cough.
is the original.
Yeah.
Message me, cough,
You
cough.
know, personal history
message me.
lesson. Personal history lesson. My friend Steven, who lives out in Harrisburg, he was the one who originally turned me on to Neil Breen stuff, and he's the one who showed me Fateful Findings, and he's how me and Alex and all you guys like got to talking and seeing all
Wow.
of
He
the
spread it among us.
greatness that
Wow,
is
your friend is a
Breen.
hero.
He
Yeah.
showed us like the best of clips of this movie with
So
the
then we
car
found
scene,
the real one.
and
Yes.
I feel like this movie we should probably just talk moments because I don't know that I can remember. Oh, you know what? I can remember exactly how this movie goes. They're the kids, and then they okay.
Yeah, this
Well,
guy.
see,
and
there's
his-
the con.
Yeah.
This one is the most ambitious
Ambitious?
in the
Tries to be like
timeline
a
at
character
least
piece.
because of like the flashbacks between like when he was a kid and like trying to connect it to like a later point in his life. Very poorly done, but like still,
horribly done.
you know, like the rock that he kept his whole life. They fell in love as kids, and then like she's his doctor when he gets hit by a car. The car hitting scene is the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
Just
When he gets hit
those
by a car.
clips
Oh.
of random strangers in the street, like you just see the camera from obviously a lower angle to see their face in front of the blue sky, and they just say the dumbest stuff like, "Is he all right? Call 911."
Yeah, this is
I
literally
hope he
like
doesn't die.
yeah, no,
Like,
it's literally
dumb
like
stuff.
separated from everybody else. Like they're clearly not standing in the crowd. They were clearly filmed after, and it was just like the Rolls Royce hit him. I saw it. I'm a witness. And like
witness.
it's just absolutely atrocious. Like
Someone call 911.
how can someone act that poorly? The wife is impossible as well. Like she's a horrible actress. She tries somewhat, but she's
Which wife? Because that's a great question. Which wife is
skinny.
worse?
The skinny one, his wife.
You think she's worse than the
The one
blonde?
with the
you
accent.
killed him.
no, that was
He killed himself.
No, Neil Breen's wife.
Oh, you're saying that she was worse?
oh well.
Government secret.
Sometimes the blonde, like the blonde, at least tries
She
occasionally.
acts the shit out of some of those scenes.
What is it? What's the guy's name? Is it
Jim.
Jeff? Jim.
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 He's the
Right.
alcoholic
Call
of the movie.
911.
Yeah,
Jim's,
Jim's,
Jim's
an alcoholic.
We're
and
gonna
he's-
skip ahead to the suicide.
Yeah, no,
scene.
Jim's an alcoholic and he's got a hot wife, and various parts throughout the movie he's drunk and he like tries to hit on Breen's wife at one point, and for literally no reason there's a great shot of like his torso as he just like stumbles and to knock over every piece of food that's sitting out on the table like at the time. And
Just
it's
all
so
of the fried chicken.
unbelievably
bam,
poorly
on the
done.
ground.
It's such a like Shane thing too, because like that whole scene of just them being outside and like talking and everything was just, I mean, it was so. The best acting in that whole movie is when they were sitting there with no mics on them, just actually eating and like talking to each other.
Yeah,
That's the
oh,
that's
yeah.
the best shot. In
It
the
was
entire
probably just
movie.
them talking to each other. Like it was legit.
We're just gonna film lunch.
It's
That's
the same
basically
pool
what they
from
did.
I Am Here Now, though. In Fateful
is.
Findings, pay attention. That backyard, everything
that
going on. It's
pool
the
is
same
the same
house,
pool.
the same pool, same everything. Breen
Really?
shoot. I think it's
Wow.
his house. I have to believe it is. But Yeah, there's a big thing in I Am Here Now about pools and these ladies in them, and then Fateful Findings brings the pool back
That is
and
the same
ladies
pool.
in them.
You're right. That is the same pool.
Women's
because the
taking
one-
their tops off in pools.
Yeah, dude, the like underage daughter like just strips in his backyard at one point, and then goes and takes a fucking like a bath in their house. And Breen finds her in there and is like, "You have to stop doing this," because she like loves him or whatever.
Yeah, and
it's-
it comes out of nowhere.
It literally like you would have no
They don't hint
idea.
at it.
You would have no
Just
idea of
happens.
this, and then all of a sudden the daughter just like is literally taking her shirt off, like
Please fuck me,
taking the
Breen.
top off, like.
And then
at
the
thing, and they
resolution
were
to that
like,
is him
what the
just telling the wife that this happened, and it's kind of like, okay.
This is a great point to bring up the fact that Neil Breen must disallow female actors to wear bras because
does.
Yeah.
every woman in every single film
You
has
see
no
some nips.
bras, and it's the funniest thing.
He made a joke about that on Facebook one time.
Neil
Like,
Breen?
Neil-
Neil
it, like-
Breen personally made a joke about.
Yeah, no, he like made. I think
My
he,
life has
he
been
legit made a thing
fulfilled.
about that. So like he knows, like he does it intentionally. I'm pretty sure. And for like art purposes, I have no fucking idea.
It signifies the female virginity. Yeah.
So many things. It's hard to talk about this movie because so many things happen in it.
Things
like-
just happen.
but nothing happened.
Yeah, things just keep happening.
It's like
That
Seinfeld
guy.
with
There's
bad
this
movies.
recurring theme of like the guy with the black shoes. We
Oh, and it
still
just
don't-
disappears.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
guy just
Fades
like
to
walks through
nothing.
a thing and just disappeared. We still don't know who it is.
It's
It
gonna.
happens
that's-
in multiple movies.
It's Nick Fury, and it's gonna tie into his Avengers universe. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that later. There's something.
But no
in another movie.
Breen. There's a Nick
Okay.
Fury.
If you wish to not pay $30 to watch this film, the very least you can do for yourself is watch the very last scene of the movie with all of the corrupt politicians
Politicians?
admitting to
Oh,
what
the
they
speech.
did.
He like announces
He
all
announces
the research,
done.
and I love how he never gives any details. He just says, "The things I have found will shock you," but he never tells you
does.
what the things are.
He has like
And
the
then
flash
poli-
drive that's got everything
Yeah.
on it. Like,
Yeah.
So okay,
These things
okay,
will
wait,
shock you.
wait. I have to get this out there. This whole movie is about a guy who is like hacking government secrets to try and figure out
Government
what
and
is going
corporate
on.
secrets.
Government, corporate, national, and
forgetting, though.
international secrets.
He's an author.
He is also an
He's
author.
an author who just decides one day, I had a head injury. I should be hacking into government.
I'm gonna hack
secrets."
into these government and corporate files to see what I can find.
And he
like that's
fu-
just the intro
That's-
to that
and,
storyline.
Apparently, he finds some stuff. His wife like drinks herself to death or something, or takes pills because she's addicted
his
to pain
wife
pills,
takes pills.
dies.
The other
he
wife-
falls in love with the woman that he knew as a kid that was his doctor, and so they end up together like no time at all.
Can we please just cover his friends, his neighbors, real quick with Jim and Amy?
Oh, okay, yeah, real
Oh my
quick.
God, Jim and Amy have problems. We said that he's alcoholic and she's having issues with it. One day he's just polishing his car. She's like, "I've had enough of this damn car. I'm gonna shoot it with holes." And she just has a gun for no reason.
She takes his gun like out of the drawer and
takes
comes
his
out of the
gun,
garage like, "I'm
and
gonna
he
shoot
goes,
this car for a
"Wait,
hole."
no!" Bam! And he's just dead.
Yeah,
and the
and she,
daughter
like-
just materializes into the scene. It's like 2 feet away from the mom or whatever. And goes, "You killed him." Dad, no, look away, look away. He shot himself. It was an accident.
Yeah, no, and then she framed it on the fact that he killed himself, and then Breen like can't figure it out. He's like, "Why the hell would
she
Jim
goes,
kill
he
himself?"
he killed himself. He killed himself.
Okay.
And
So
Dad-
that's
Oh,
the
then we
main.
get to the-
So that's the main idea of this movie. That's the whole
Yes.
plot about it.
Stuff.
I took a
happens.
Breen's Facebook page put up a quiz the other day to see like how well you know the movies. I took it. There was a question in there
yeah.
that I could not. I had no idea about this.
What was it?
It said which one of Neil Breen's previous films is the movie that Fateful Findings was a remake of, and it's Double Down. The
Oh, I could've
answer
told you
was
that.
Double. I had no idea it was supposed to be a remake of Double Down
Well, think about
because it
that.
has
mean,
absolute. Because
He's hacking into government secrets. I
But
could
he
have.
does that in every movie.
Well, I mean,
Except
yes.
I'm here now.
except I am here
Fateful
now.
Findings and Double Down in the same movie, just like Pass Through and I Am Here Now, are very similar
I guess so, kind of. But like,
in like a terrible
even then,
way.
still, he intended that movie. I have no idea. I saw that and I couldn't believe it. No, but the last scene of this movie is just literally all like what was it, 4 or 5 corrupt politicians, literally just various ways killing themselves because they
And
can't. They
just
either can't live with
announce
what
their
they've done
guilt.
or they know their
I
life
can't
is.
go to prison They now know my crimes. And then he raises a gun and goes, bam.
They never specify the crimes.
No, they never
They
do.
never specify the crimes. They never
No.
specify a company. He
They
didn't
just
make up a
kill
company.
themselves.
They literally just like there was the
I
greatest
resign
thing.
as
Okay,
president of the
Derek,
bank.
you ruined it. God damn
Ugh.
it, no, because I was like that was the greatest thing I've ever seen in a movie. I never
can say it
laughed
again.
harder in any Neil Breen movie than when that guy goes there goes, I resign as president of the bank.
Of the
And then
bank.
shoots himself.
And then shoots
Which
himself in the
bank?
head. Oh my god, that was.
I can never say that line enough. I resign as president of the bank.
I never not laugh at that part. Like I've seen it so many times, it gets me every time.
And I love
It's
how these guys look
hysterical.
like, regular human beings. I mean, yeah, they're actors, obviously,
human
but
beings?
they look like people, actual working Joes who work in those industries. Like, I can believe these bankers, politicians actually are those. They're just acting. They're like state or city level, I guess. I don't know.
Can't believe it, man.
Or their relatives or friends from the office. Like, I don't know.
Okay, so
Not actors, obviously.
the best look. In my opinion, the least worst one overall is Fateful Findings.
It's the most coherent.
It's
Yeah,
coherent.
It's
It's watchable. It's funny.
it's
Oh, it
amazing that it's the
is.
most coherent because it is still full of stuff. You're confused the entire movie. That's
Where's
the
this
hilarious thing
going?
about it.
Yes.
Jim,
Really,
how
yeah.
could you have done this? How could you have committed suicide?
That movie
I can't help
does-
you out of this one,
It's
Jim.
funny. That movie doesn't feel like it takes as long as the other ones, which is why I think it's the
Yeah,
best.
it
It doesn't feel like it takes forever. It
it
takes
feels
a long
like
time.
you just pass through.
It takes a. Oh, shut up! It takes a long
I will
time.
end you.
But it doesn't
Brain
take as long as the other
puns.
ones. Okay, now speaking of movies that take forever, Pass Through.
Pass through.
Pass
Oh my
Through to
God.
me takes the longest to happen.
It
It's
takes
the
them-
same average
Yeah.
runtime as all the other movies, but it takes so much longer.
Ironic.
to
It takes the
happen.
most time, and it's about time travel.
I think it's the
In a way.
shortest too in actual length. I think that's the hour and
my
29 minute.
It takes, yeah, that is the short one, and it,
It bends
takes
space-time.
so long.
Can I just say, drone footage doesn't work in a movie?
Especially when it's half the
Why?
movie.
I can't believe there is a lot of drone footage of him walking around in various parts of where is he? Is he in Nevada?
I think so. It's
Is
some
he,
sort of
he's a
American
desert. He's
desert.
in a desert in Arizona or Nevada or
Yeah.
something like that. Like
Yeah.
walking around doing various things, and they're usually just traversing this area and trying to look like he's athletic and cool while doing it, but literally
And he's,
not
like,
doing
running,
anything impressive. He's just
jogging.
walking or jogging,
And
stepping
voiceover
over
narration.
and stepping over rocks, and this drone is filming him. Then there's that weird thing with he randomly will cut away to him being poorly CGI'd next to a tiger. That's
oh
never
yeah, there's
explained.
a tiger for some reason.
There's a tiger that's never explained. It's like
That's
his
the
it's
best
like his
scene.
friend when he goes to a different universe that is also never explained.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
explained at the very end.
I think the plot was he was some sort of cybernetic robotic intelligence.
He was an
or
inter- he
AI
was,
from
well,
the
he was
future.
interdimensional as well. because
Interdimensional
because goes
AI
through- because he goes
intelligence
through
from the
different
future.
Yeah, and these
Don't ask.
These people are trying to cross the border, and these two escape. These two women escape, and they
Yeah.
find him homeless bum, heroin addict as well, living in a literally abandoned, broken down van or bus.
Yeah. I also love how apparently he has to be introduced to the mom character twice. It's like, who are you? I am so and so. I'm nobody. And it's like they do this scene twice, and it's like, why do you have both in the movie? Probably to pad the runtime.
I don't know what happened with this one because
I don't think he did either.
Breen had just hit a home run with Fateful Findings, and I will say that,
Home run, as in a home run at a little league game.
yo, if Breen ever hears this, what I want him to take away is, I'm sure he's one of those guys who's like, oh, you can't, I don't watch my own movies. I can't let that sink in. Go back, watch Fateful Findings, let it sink in again. And also, or maybe not, because that new one, we'll get to that.
We'll get to the new one.
I'm excited. Pass through,
fucking get to that
he just keeps coming back to this freaking drone footage. and then he's going to like big parties and killing them or blowing houses up or something.
You know, well,
They're
he
actually
goes to
green
this-
screen mansions.
The green screen
He
mansion.
goes to this green screened as hell mansion where like all these important people are like all of a sudden like he's like a bum heroin addict. All of a sudden he's like in a suit and tie.
Yeah,
He like walks
and he
in
just
there and he keeps
interjects
walking around
into
and they're
the
like doing all
conversation.
these things and like he butts into the conversation on something they're talking about that's like very blatantly like we're going to do this and take all their
Yeah.
money. And he's like, isn't that corrupt? And everyone's just like, what?
Isn't that mean?
Yeah, everybody's like, isn't that cheating the public? And people just kind of stand around awkwardly, and then he leaves, and the house very poorly explodes. Like he blows the place up.
Yeah.
And bad,
And then
bad
at the
clip art
very end of the
fashion.
movie, there's this speech that I swear to God goes on for 20 minutes. I don't think it actually does, but
It's
swear.
basically a ripoff from Fateful Findings,
It's
but
well,
an
it's
AI
this,
from the
it's
future
this
is now giving it.
long speech about like humanity, like like waking up and he
Yeah.
kills. How many millions of people does he like kill? He kills like
It's several
every
millions of
He's like
people.
he
Yeah.
kills every corrupt politician or
The
individual.
cleanse has begun.
He calls it the
Thanos.
cleanse. Yeah.
He is Thanos.
Oh my gosh! This all connects.
Yeah, he is Thanos. Except he kills all of the people.
He does.
My God. That movie. Oh, and I think the acting was probably the worst it's ever been in Pass Through because
Oh,
of, like-
yeah, that-
like,
yeah.
they're not. I guess they're immigrants or whatever. They just start randomly speaking their thoughts in monologue fashion. They're not talking to each other. They're just saying things like, "I am so terrified." Another woman might be like, "How can we be treated like this?" And then another.
Yeah,
woman-
really.
And these are all in the same scene. Like it's like
Yeah.
one person just one
They're
at
like
a
all
time.
they're like all
They just say
sitting
their
around.
line.
Yeah.
No one
And-
talks like this. That's one thing in these movies.
They're-
It's like he doesn't understand how humans communicate.
I knew this film was going to be like atrocious when at the very beginning they were looking to like someone was planning ahead on like basically dismantling a cage like a fence, like a metal fence, so they could get through it, and he goes to like light the thing like he was going to melt it, and he like Microsoft painted in like it's that level of bad.
Yeah.
The flame effect to the torch. Like it couldn't even use a real torch. It's an effect. It's an added-in effect. It's unbelievable. It's so bad.
Breen is the master of After Effects. I'm CGI. Like
See, the thing is,
he
this
uses
movie,
CGI to the pinnacle.
this movie could have been told in a short story.
It could have been told in 15 minutes.
But we
It
needed
really,
50
like,
minutes of drone footage.
yeah, we
Dude,
where he just
no,
talks to
the main thing about
audience.
this movie is nothing happens in it. Nothing, like more than
Yeah.
any of his other movies. Absolutely,
Yeah.
nothing happens in it for
something
like.
kind of happens with the immigrants, but not really.
But like it's just it keeps hammering. He keeps trying to like keep you involved. They're like, hey, remember these people? This is what they're going through. But he fails, and it's
Yeah.
so bad. He
And it-
does it's so
Yeah.
bad.
And he keeps saying the same stuff over and over about like how life is bad, or officials are bad.
Oh, his name
Greed,
is
corruption. It's the same thing.
His
just
name
different
is
takes.
Till, which is light backwards because
My name is
it's-
Till.
because he sees a freaking light yogurt cup and decides to just flip that, and that's his name.
Yeah, he
That's
doesn't
how
like
he
want to
picks
give
it.
them his actual name, so he saw like a light yogurt cup back, and he's like he said
Like
Till
anyone would have
backwards.
understood who he really was anyway. My name is Jesus.
I don't even think he's supposed to be
I
that.
guess.
Yeah, like at the
No.
very end of the movie, the one
Could've been.
girl is like they're going to like this like place that's like better. Like all these people are dead. And, like there's going to be a whole new world of all this stuff. The one girl is just like, "Yo, I'm not going," and they're
A
like,
whole
"Why?" And
new
she's just like, "I can't."
world.
She's like, "I'm not going," and they were just like, eventually they were like, "Okay." And left without her, and then Breen and this other girl just go in, and then the pile of bodies, which is like the same three dudes,
Oh yeah, they like
Yeah.
is just like laying in this huge field, and then there's an aurora borealis in the
Because why not?
background, and then like some.
Aren't they crucified also?
No, they're
No,
not
that
crucified. They're
was
just bodies
Angry
laying
Now.
in a field.
We'll see if they'd have done it. It's exactly the same movie, but done worse.
I think it was
They're all
just,
just
less
laying in a field.
religious. More
Yeah,
AI
this-
based.
this is
this is AI.
that's why this is
Ultron
the
is Jesus.
this is the hardest to watch movie for me. I don't know about you
Yeah.
guys. This was the
Yeah, no, this is
hardest
definitely
one to
bottom.
watch.
It took some effort plowing through
It took
that.
some effort to get through the end.
It
of
has
that
its
movie.
moments though.
Yes.
Every
Oh, it
scene
has its
dealing
hilarious
with
moments.
like the caravan of people, like the drug caravan, I guess, or
How do you act that poorly?
The lady who's in
You
charge
don't.
with like the gun and everything.
Oh, the lady in
she's
charge with the
ba-
gun.
she's
She tries
awesome.
to be like angry the whole time, and like she's trying, but she's the least threatening, fakest person I've ever seen act.
She just
in
comes
a
off
movie.
more annoying.
have a weapon.
I will shoot
I
you.
own you. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah,
this
it's-
very like overdone acting. Just
Yeah.
really. Oh my gosh, it's so horrible. I don't have. It's so hard to talk about a movie where so much of nothing happens in it. I don't even know what else to say about
It's
it.
definitely his most nothing happening movie.
It's the Seinfeld of the Breen.
Well, see,
series.
Seinfeld's actually good though. Seinfeld's actually really good. It's just, yeah, I'm okay with moving forward because
I think
this
we
next
can
one,
move on.
this next one might be my favorite.
So
This is more my
Breen
Breen.
just this year came out with. It wasn't just this
It
year.
was 2018. It was
Yeah.
the end of
Oh,
last
was it
year.
2018? Oh, we're that late.
He
Wow.
brought it around to theaters and stuff. See, we're actually kind of early because I found a way to see this movie.
You can buy it now. I'm pretty sure, can't you?
You can,
It's available.
but
You got to pay.
I got it in HD, which apparently you really can't get. So I don't know how I got it.
Wait, wait. That's HD. Are you kidding
Mine's
me?
1080p.
Oh.
It looked ba-
that's the file. That we
Someone
watched,
spent
right?
time
Yeah.
cleaning this up.
Oh my gosh. Dude,
Twisted Pair might be his magnum opus, and I gotta say, we watched this movie together, and I don't think there was ever a span of 2 minutes that went by where we weren't laughing.
this was the biggest laugh fest. Like
Yeah.
there was always enough going on that was horrible that you could laugh the entire movie. That is like the one thing I will say
Yeah.
about this movie that almost makes it the best one to me, because you just the whole time it was hilarious. Not a single moment in that movie was like not funny.
Oh yeah.
And like,
Couldn't
okay,
keep a straight face.
I'm
for
still
long.
like, I've thought about this and I still don't understand the whole thing that goes on. Like he sees this woman walking and he's like, "Oh, I'll she like bumps into him and he's like, I'm so sorry. And like as he's helping, like she doesn't want help. She doesn't want to talk to him. Like she's like, "Please get away from, like, stop talking to me." And he's like, I'll meet you I'll take you to dinner. I'm sorry." And she's like, "No, get away from me." He's like, "I'll see you here tomorrow at 8." And like she doesn't show up, and the homeless guy that was sitting there listening is like, "She's not coming back." And he's like, he sees her walking Billy. He's like, "I'm gonna follow her," and like goes and follow her. We're like, we were all like, "Wait, excuse me, what?" And follows her back to her fucking house. He like breaks in, basically, and they start like wrestling and fighting. She like busts a painting over his head, and like all of a sudden, they're perfectly fine.
Well, cause
And then they're like
dating the whole
brother,
time or
but then aren't they like brother and sister or something like that?
Father,
I
daughter?
picked up on.
I don't remember.
Here-
No, not
here's
father,
where it
daughter.
is. That's when Breen cuts to the other Breen, because Breen is twins in this movie. Because
I thought it was the same twin.
No, dude, it was the same dude.
no, I swear it's when it changes, because they do that wrestling and then he says to her something like daughter or something, but him and that girl that he was following were not, and he was interested in her, and that's like a plot point that he's trying to get with
No,
her.
dude, it's the same girl.
Yeah. And it was the
could
same
I
twin.
watched the
swear
movie.
it's
I could watch the movie.
switched.
Dude, I've watched the movie twice. I swear to
Well,
God.
the
it's
only
the
way it
same
makes
girl.
sense is if I'm
It's a
right.
Breen movie. There is no sense. To
I
be
guess there is
made.
no sense.
Yeah, so like that made no sense.
Wow.
The
There
one
is
scene
no
with
sense,
with the
only Zool.
okay, so the guy with the black shoes who like kept vanishing in Fateful Findings is back again, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that, it wasn't that scene where he walked
Nick
up to
Fury's
that,
back.
where he walked up to that one homeless guy because he said something and like he stabbed him in the leg. But the
Yeah.
guy, to protect himself, like he had an actual knife, had a block of wood in his pocket, and you could tell that it's there, and like stabs him in this like wooden block. The guy barely reacts. He takes it out and leaves. There's no blood. It's just a block of wood in his
my
fucking
God.
pocket, and it was done for the actor. Like it wasn't even. Oh my gosh.
This thing makes no sense. It's just about like two twins.
Oh.
And what were they, like government experiments or
No,
something?
there were
They're
two,
psychic or
they were two twins.
they have powers.
There were two twins that were given abilities, and the one was really bad at it. So they were like, "Fuck this guy. We'll just like
Yeah.
tell him to piss off.
What were their names? I know the good one
I
was
don't even
Cade
know.
Yeager. The
Yeah,
other
Cade,
one was...
Cade and something else. What was it, Fair?
It's probably a weird name.
Something, yeah.
Neil Breen.
Neil Breen. But
I
like
am myself.
these, so
I
there's
am
two,
here now.
and like the brothers, like the good brother is like trying to be supportive of the bad one because the bad one knows that he's like awful at everything, and like he ends up getting into like he's like dating this mortal chick, and then she's like
Yeah.
they do drugs together, and they're really bad. Oh, and there was
Yes.
that one scene in the movie where it's like,
Oh.
we're done. I'm done with you. We're done. We're done. We're done. Like it
All
like
of the
cuts.
takes were left in.
It like cut. No, it was the same take, but it like cuts back as if someone like edited it together to make
We're
it do it
done.
3
I'm
times in
done
a
with
row.
you.
And we actually don't know if that was intentional.
I
or
think
what.
it's intentional. I think this was his take at a Tarantino movie, and my other clue is he jumps between 2 timelines, and he jumps between the 2 different characters that he's playing. We have the interesting editing choices. We have some other kinds of things that just where he like takes looks at movies and stuff later when he takes looks at his own movie, which. You know what? I think we should keep the spoilers on this one down to a minimum just because it's the newest one, but I guess it's also green, so I don't even...
want to talk about my favorite scene, which was also in the trailer, so not technically a spoiler. It's the part where he looks into the camera and says, "I'll be right here," and then takes his pointer finger to his heart, and it shines and glows like friggin' E.T.
Yeah,
I'm like,
he rips
are
E.T.
you
off.
kidding me?
That's true.
Are you kidding me?
And
The
like
I'll be
explosions.
right here.
Oh, there were so many. Okay, the
CGI.
the scene where they're leaving the building and there's other people getting out of the building. Literally, while he monologues, it's a stilled stock video of people leaving the building. You remember that? Like when the soldiers were leaving,
Yeah.
he literally just paused it, and then as he's walking, he plays it. Like it wasn't. He didn't try and isolate it. You can clearly see because everyone's standing completely still. And then they unpause because he played the film. He green screened himself in it. He somehow found a way to green screen himself jumping up into various platforms.
He turns
I
into
was-
Spider-Man.
Yes.
Dude,
Oh, I
when
love how
when
he's
he
like,
first like
"Oh,
was
oh,
looking
oh,"
around and
looks
he
around.
jumped up to like that like 8th story window, I was
It
livid.
was
I
not
was so unbelievably livid. If we
Oh,
do
it was
a talk
amazing.
on just this movie in a little bit, we have to bring Kira and Kelsey into this because they've watched this movie as well.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
like they watched it with me and they absolutely
You had to share
love
this
it. I
one.
had to share it. That's a movie you share with people.
I mean, Twisted Pair is... I mean, from start to finish, I don't know... Pound for pound, it's Breen's best movie. I'm going to go out and say...
Breen for Breen.
He said it was supposed to be like he said it was gonna be nothing like any of his other movies
And
and,
it's
it wasn't
exact.
gonna have the same plot, but like it kind of does have a similar idea and plot. He's like it's gonna be the
Government
most ambitious, it's gonna
corruption.
be the best made one, and like his special effects have gotten better, I guess.
Quote, unquote.
His actors have not.
Yeah.
Actors.
Yeah,
quote,
really.
unquote.
Yeah, actors, quote unquote.
Acting.
There's so many moments in Twisted Pair where you're just sitting in awe.
I don't think they're actors. They're just people caught on screen.
Well, I have to believe that Neil Breen doesn't get real actors. He gets people who, I guess he talks them into acting. Because I cannot believe anybody who's had any acting training at
Yeah.
all could possibly do any kind of take like any of Neil Breen's movies. They're delivered.
Even
just
the
not
acting
good.
in
Horribly.
like The Room was good because like those are films that even that was like
Yeah.
the only bad one in there was Tommy Wiseau really. I mean there wasn't.
You mean
And
the
the
only
writing,
good
but,
one
like,
was Tommy
all
Wiseau?
right.
And the writing.
And the rating.
Oh, the
And the
writing.
Ooh, man.
The test results
I-
came back. I definitely have breast cancer.
Yeah.
Well,
She
just
like
don't worry
ignores
about it.
So we got to do a podcast about The Room then, right?
Yeah, we got to
Yes,
tackle
the
that.
We have to rewatch that though. I think I have it on DVD.
The
best
Citizen Kane.
best
of bad
$10 I've
movies.
ever spent.
Ooh, you got it for $10. Nice.
10. Oh, dude, $10
You need
bucks.
to have a Tommy
oh.
Wiseau podcast.
I want the Blu-ray of. I have to.
Dude, I can't imagine that the Blu-ray looks any different than the original.
I'm gonna get the Blu-ray.
All the glory of those establishing shots.
You're joking,
of
but they
New
have
York
the
City.
Blu-ray.
I've considered just getting people who I know can't make movies and like inspire them to make movies so that they can make stuff as bad as this. I know that sounds terrible from this point
Hey,
of
at least
view.
it's original.
But if I want to get people who are passionate that have no talent, because I would love to recreate this, but I know it's not possible because Neil Breen is
can't.
a specimen of
You can't
filmmaking.
recreate
I have
sheer
I have two
Breeenious.
things. One, the first thing I want to say is, without question, I think the most electrifying moment of this entire of all of Twisted Pair is the moment when they were suddenly in a movie theater watching something and. It's the ending of one of the other. I won't say it's like it's a part of one of the other Neil Breen movies is playing on there.
Yeah.
We exploded when that happened.
We're like, oh my
I
god, he played his
was
other movie.
absolutely livid. We
it
still
was
don't know.
amazing.
We still don't know who the guy in the black shoes is, but I think that's gotta happen. It's
When-
gotta mean something.
I was mad when I found out that Twisted Pair played in Philly and that we could have gone.
No,
But his next movie will come around too. We'll have to do that. I mean, honestly,
dude, that's
we'll
gonna
make a
be
trip
like
out of it.
5 years.
If it
the
comes out
big
next year,
Breen.
it's like comes out. I'm like,
it's not. Gonna go. He's not even talking about a new movie right now. He's been talking about Twisted Pair for like 4 years.
it came out only 2 years after Pass Through.
Is it?
He's
Really?
been speeding up in his movie production. He's getting good because he actually has fans now. Good. I think we could talk last thoughts on this, but then maybe like
Should we
our
tell
watching order and our ranking.
Should we tell him about the post-credit scene
I have
of Twisted Pair?
We of Twist. I don't think we can't.
It's
ruin
not really a post-credit scene, but it's a message, and oh my god.
No, we can't do it. I think because
Stay through the
there's
credits,
some
you will
stuff.
love it.
Imagine.
You won't be disappointed.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah,
even.
no,
I
don't-
can't
don't
even
do it.
compare it to anything.
Just sit through the credits, you'll see the message at the end.
my second
Yeah.
thing here.
We
if-
burst out laughing. when we
Okay,
saw it.
if you like like let's say someone decides to remake all of Neil Breen's films like in
my
their own way.
God.
No, but like
Actually good.
remake it as as a proper movie is made, like change some of the lines, like actual acting, everything.
basically
would
make
they
it make sense.
like could they be good? Do you think that at its core they're
Scorsese
just
does
bad?
double down.
Okay, so the only feasible way I could see something like it working is if you took a director, and I have one specifically in mind who might be able to pull something off in it, but it would definitely not appeal to everybody. Yorgos Lanthimos, he did The Favorite, and he did The Lobster, and it has very awkward dialogue, but it ends up being pretty funny. I feel like he would try to find a way to make that stuff work, but I don't think any other director could work with the lines that Breen tries working with here.
Well, like you can change the lines.
Oh, if you're saying we can change the lines,
no,
we can work with
You
things?
you can work with this movie.
you're
Like you
just
can
saying
make
remake it.
Yeah, I'm saying remake it. Like
Just
keep
straight up
the same
remake.
idea, keep the same like concept of everything, but like could it be interpreted well enough by someone else to make
Yeah.
a good movie?
Christopher Nolan could do Fateful Findings.
I think Martin Scorsese could do Double Down with like Matt Damon
I think
or Leonardo DiCaprio.
who's the guy that did Passion of the Christ?
Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson does Pass Through or
I'm here
Twisted
now.
Pair.
Well, no, he would probably do I Am Here Now.
That's true.
That's what I was thinking.
Except it's
Mel,
actual Jesus.
Mel Brooks does Twisted Pair with all the
Mel
explosions.
Brooks.
Who's the guy that's always like,
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay. Yeah, Michael
as soon as
Bay
you said
does Twisted
explo-
Pair.
I'm
That
like,
would
yeah,
be pass through.
The Pass Through? Really? You think he would do Pass Through?
Well, there's the explosion of the building.
Yeah.
There's the drone footage, which
The cleanse
But
that
dude,
has begun.
there's so many. Like, there's an excessive amount of explosions in Twisted Pair. Like, it's
Twisted
absolutely
Pair
ridiculous.
has,
but not Michael Bay level yet. so-
Michael Bay would not be able to make it as good, and I know that sounds like he couldn't do it as good as Breen does Twisted Pair. Like nobody could do Twisted Pair as good as like,
man.
frickin' Andrei Tarkovsky would look at the script and he'd just burn it. Like he wouldn't even attempt to do it. He'd be like, "What the fuck is this shit?"
So when you like, if you take into account like the plot and everything, I think that these movies are like
Plot.
a potential
Quote,
like
unquote.
these could be good movies, but they'll unfortunately never will be.
Oh, they never will.
No one's ever gonna do it. I wish upon a star somebody would, like some actual director would
I will.
actually remake one of these movies, like just one. Give me one.
Derek's gonna make it.
I would watch that in a heartbeat, and
Ryan
maybe
Johnson
it would be good.
presents Fateful Findings.
He would ruin another thing I love. He needs to stop. Ryan Johnson needs to stop making movies because, like, every time I see one of his movies, I feel worse and worse. Looper made Uncle Mike fall asleep,
Yeah.
and then The Last Jedi made me want to rip my eyes out and cut my balls.
Why don't we just have Peter Jackson do Double Down?
Peter Jackson, but like Peter
the
Jackson
movie
from
would
his
be
early
3 hours long.
no, Derek,
That's
early
true.
career Peter Jackson. We're talking bad taste, brain dead kind of shit.
Oh.
That era Peter Jackson could make a brain movie because I kick ass for the Lord. Like
Oh my god,
he
Kung
would
Fu priest fighting zombies.
see now. Josh is intrigued. He's like, "What is this?" Okay, there's a movie called Dead Alive by Peter Jackson.
Alternatively,
you might
Brain
love
Dead.
it. It might be right up your alley because it's kind of serious, but okay, not at
But
all.
it's kind of not.
It's
they
not.
treat it seriously, but it's not presented.
It's
as
actually-
such.
So it's a Neil Breen movie.
Except actually well made. Like it's technically
it
like,
had a budget.
and the story's good, and it's hilarious too. Yeah, that might be one up.
Okay,
But for Rapmaster Breen, what would your watch order be for these movies?
okay, I honestly feel like I did a great job of watching them in the proper order
Oh,
with a little bit of like variance. So like
Faithful
I
Order of
I
appearance.
think well actually Derek you go first. What,
Yeah, let's start
what
with
would you
Derek.
do?
Oh, okay. So I would.
I've been talking
I
a
would
lot. You-
start
you
with
go.
Fateful Findings
Okay.
because that one's again the most coherent of movies. It's a nice balance between an attempt at plot and random silliness. Next, I would go Twisted Pair.
Really?
Yeah.
Right after.
Yeah,
Wow.
that one was just. Oh my god, that was a real knee slapper. Then it would be I Am Here Now. Then it would probably be. I don't know. I think it's actually tied between Pass Through and Double Down. Both of those are hard to get through for me. Like, they're.
Are you
Breen
going
movies, I
from
can watch
easiest
them.
to hardest to get through?
Easiest, but also in terms of how funny they are, how hard I laugh.
Okay.
So you're saying Faithful Findings first?
Faithful Findings
Twisted Pair.
first. Twisted Pair. I Am Here Now, and then it's a tie for Double Down and Pass
Do
Through.
you think that
Actually, no,
Faithful
I'd say
Finding-
Double Down, then Pass Through.
Yeah.
which do you think is a better laugh fest, Faithful Findings or Twisted Pair? I think it's Twisted Pair.
Yeah. I mean, for
That
pure
one was
humor.
bold,
I
but I think
lost
Faithful
it.
Findings is consistent. Like, even after several rewatches, I still laugh at the scenes.
Well, we
Oh, I
haven't
can-
even
no, I
tried
can
to watch
still-
Twisted Pair again, so
That's
we don't
true.
even.
We
That
should
is
we
true.
should watch both of them.
Oh,
We should do it.
That's a great double feature.
Yeah. Fair. What?
My
What's your
watch
pick?
order is different than my rankings, which I think we can do rankings afterward.
Yeah, yeah.
My watch order, I've kind of thought about it a little bit. Faithful Findings first. I think you gotta. I know earlier I said, "Oh, start with Double Down." That's if you're kind of pussyfooting in it. You don't want to know. If you want to just jump in the goddamn end of the pool, just say, "Consume me." Let's see what happens. Faithful Findings will pop your cherry, man. You got to do.
See, that's
It's
an
so
interesting
funny.
take. I thought if you wanted to drop in the deep end, you'd start with Pass Through.
Oh,
No, I find
But
Faithful
okay,
Findings
you
a
can
good
go-
so-
intro movie. An
Faithful-
intro to Breen
Yeah, Faithful
101.
Findings is a great intro, especially if you like bad movies. It's a great place to start. It's the most coherent. It's the most consistent.
You're
Then
now used to how Breens go.
I say Fateful Findings. Then we're gonna go to I Am Here
Now.
Now, and that one I think that introduces you to a whole different kind of crazy side of Breen, but it's also hilarious. It's a
Yeah.
great ride. It's one of his top ones as well. It's I think that kind of introduces you to a little bit of that, and then I say from there, you go into. It's tough. I said Double Down, but you know what? I'm scrapping it now. Twisted Pair third. You get a little bit of crazy with Fateful Findings, you get quite a bit of crazy with I Am Here Now, and then you just craziness. Twisted Pair, you do that up, you get really crazy with that. Then you go into Double Down, and you kind of see, okay, Breen could maybe make a movie.
Yeah.
And then you just watch Pass Through, and you just sit there and go, that had some great moments, but
Nothing else.
nothing else. And it's like,
'Cause
now I'm
nothing
sad.
happens.
Now what you do after that is you throw Fateful Findings and Twisted Pair on as a double feature, and you enjoy them till the end of time.
That's fair.
Where's Josh standing on this?
Okay, so I agree with starting with Fateful Findings
Oh,
because
okay.
I think it's the one movie where I think of course you're going to see it and you're going to say there's no way a movie could be worse than this, but little do you realize it's actually one of his most well-made ones. I think it's still the best made one overall.
Yeah,
it's
agree.
the most
Yeah.
simplistic. Like that's the one that you can like, dare I say, understand the best. Again, dare I say. Then I would think you'd go into Double Down
Okay.
because when you go into Double Down after that, you're getting that's the next step I think of going like, oh wow, it actually can get worse. But then
Yeah.
there's also this whole idea of like you start to really get into a sense of like Breen's mannerisms of his recurring themes and his like just his little mannerisms, like his like his bad acting, his very loose story writing, if that's even what I want to
Loose.
say.
Yeah, loose.
Writing.
Then you go
Yeah, writing.
into I Am Here Now, which is like the worst looking movie, first of all.
Yeah.
But then there's the whole
Yeah.
idea of like, then it starts you and it gets you used to the idea of awful, purely terrible acting from extras and anyone who's just not Neil Breen, because then you do Pass Through and it takes forever because acting is impossible to watch in that movie.
Yeah.
Then you end it with Twisted Pair because if you can make it, only a true Breen veteran can, I think, with all the other movies, can appreciate what Twisted Pair is. That's what I think. I think that we appreciate Twisted Pair so much because we know all the other movies and we know they're just that fucking bad, and it keeps every movie has a different mannerism that it like encompasses and like hits and focuses on. So like if you can get through all that, you can get through Twisted Pair and you will absolutely die laughing, like more than I think you would if you started out Guns A-Blazing or right after Fateful Findings, which is not a bad thing to do, Fateful Findings and then Twisted Pair, but I think you have to watch Twisted Pair last. That's just my way of looking at it.
Well, yeah. Well, especially Twisted Pair
and
last
that's
is a great.
and that's the
great-
order I watched them in for the most part, I think. And I every time I thought to myself, "Oh my gosh, it can't get worse." I do think I watched Pass Through before I watched I Am Here Now, and I still held with the fact that Pass Through was worse than I Am Here Now. In the idea of that, like,
Oh yeah.
if not for for the time it takes to watch it, what it feels like, how long it feels like you're watching it, I Am Here Now would be worse, but Pass Through just takes so long that I Am Here Now has to be above it.
Yeah.
And that's
well,
really hard to
do we
say.
want to do rankings then?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can do rankings.
Well, if we do, I stand by my original lineup.
So you were saying that your rankings would be Fateful Findings.
Fateful Findings,
Twisted Pair.
Pair, I'm Here Now,
Now.
Double Down, and Pass Through.
Now, that's from best to worst.
Best to worst.
Yeah.
So your
Correct.
last one is which one?
My last one is Pass Through.
Okay.
I think that's
Yeah.
the weakest of the
I-
three.
What makes you say that Fateful Finding is it what we said about like it's the most coherent
Yeah,
one, it's the most consistent?
Movie of the movies.
It's
you
the
know,
simplest
it's
one.
The simplest one. It actually makes some degree of sense. It's the one I feel like you could put that on like Sci-Fi Channel. I don't know, some I feel like you
A
could actually
sci-fi
see,
original Neil Breen, I'd pay for that.
I would love to see a sci-fi
Wow.
original Breen picture.
Easy
I
there,
can actually
boy.
see this being presented on like TV,
Yo, Crocosaurus got nothing on Breen.
like PBS. Like, hey, we needed something to fill a time slot. But yeah,
That'd
it's
be
the most
great.
movie of
Neil-
the movies.
Neil
so-
Breen on TV. Oh, dude, I haven't
On
watched TV in
T-Breen?
years. I would sit through the commercials and I would watch Neil Breen on TV just to say I did it.
I am D Breen.
IMDb
D Breen.
What about you?
My rankings are the correct rankings. No, I'm joking. Twisted Pair is the best for me. I mean, any movie that can make me laugh from like the absolute start to the end automatically gets a big thumbs up. The fact that this has like an 8 point something on IMDb, which would rank it in the top 250 movies of all time, makes me laugh so much. The system is broken and we have destroyed them.
It's just trolls.
We're
That's all it
taking
is.
down the system. This is what Breen wanted us to
That is
do.
true. That is true.
We've hacked into their most sacred thing, IMDb. So Twisted Pair is just awesome. When we watch this, I'm like, I have to watch this movie again.
We
And
should
I
have recorded
haven't.
ourselves watching it the first time.
Yeah,
That's like
yo,
one
let's
mistake.
watch.
We should have
We
recorded a
howled.
reaction.
I mean, we have.
I haven't laughed that hard in a long
We were screaming into
time.
pillows because we were laughing that hard. Because
Yeah.
this movie,
Oh, I hurt watching that movie.
Twisted
Gut
Pair,
burster.
might be the funniest movie I've ever seen. Which that's bold,
That's
but it
really
might
bold.
Take it.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
might. Then Fateful Findings is not close behind. I think both of them are amazing. From start to finish, they're both hilarious and they're their own things. And then I think after that's when the debate could kind of start. But I think all of us might have the exact same order for them. I Am Here Now has some great moments in it that are hilarious. It's got some spots where you're like, what the heck's this thing with these kids with walkie-talkies and this science thing? You don't care about anything going on.
Oh yeah, we didn't even mention that.
We didn't even mention
We
the
didn't
cringy
mention
kids.
the awful kids and the teacher that like is in the wheelchair and he's being pushed by the kid in the wheelchair, but he's still like frantically moving the wheels
Yeah.
because he
He
has
has
to look like he's in a
cancer and some
wheelchair.
stuff.
Yeah, it's
A
and they're
typical
trying to like
feature of
find
Breen's-
like the star, and they figured out that it's the homeless guy, and he gives him a bunch of like gems or something.
I
Yeah.
have these fake gems. I have.
Oh,
See,
those kids
I
were
Am
so
Here Now,
bad.
it has some
so
great
bad.
moments, which I think are on par with moments in the other two. So for that reason, I'm gonna put it third. Then Double Down, which is arguably his best made movie in the term of a technical level of cinematography and editing. It is competently edited and shot.
Yeah, kinda.
Kind of.
Competent.
I mean, for what it is,
Yeah, for what it is, yeah.
It still has those great
you gotta
moments.
be really careful with that.
like Neil Breen's ball sack in the floor. Yeah, the scene where they're floating upside down. You just see his
Yeah.
nutsack
It's
floating.
Yeah.
When he grabs his wife though, and he's like, oh, it's so amazing. Double Down still has some amazing moments. All of them do. Even Pass Through, which I have at the absolute bottom, which was a slog to get through some moments. There were parts where they just had me hysterically laughing. But yeah, I mean, Pass Through is one of those where if you watch the fan cut, it's probably awesome. So that might be the only one where I'd be like, you know what, I'm gonna save those 45 minutes, and I'm gonna have that better experience. So, yeah, no, I think it's a great order, and I'd highly suggest watching all of them. Honestly,
Yeah, I suggest watching all of them, certainly. And, like, pick your
Do
order.
it.
Pick your order if you want. But, like, you know, you're in for a ride either way. Even if you watch them chronological order, like, just you have to just watch them all. You really do. I still stand by the fact that I think no matter what order you watch yours, you have to watch Twisted Pair last. That's a veteran film. You got to do that last. If I were to rank these pretty close to you, Fair, I would say Twisted Pair first. Or I'm sorry, not Twisted Pair first. I would say Fateful Findings first because as Derek and I have been saying, it's the simplest one. It's the most coherent and like, and it has enough memorable moments in it of like that make you laugh every time, but also it's memorable, it's hysterical, and it has just enough of awful in it that you know you're watching something very special. I would then put Twisted Pair, and that's hard to do because, like you said, there's not a single like 5-minute stretch in Twisted Pair where I wasn't laughing, or where I didn't think something was just undoubtedly funny.
Like beyond terrible.
Yeah,
funny.
no, like I was impressed with the amount of hilariously bad things that movie has to offer, and I can appreciate it even more as a Neil Breen veteran fan. I would then put Double Down.
Yeah.
Because of the way it's made, like you said, it's more of the well-made. I just struggle so much to say that. I can't believe you made me say that just now.
Well, man.
But it's more of a it's still ridiculous. Obviously, it's still completely ridiculous. But I don't know. It's definitely, the thing is about it is that it's certainly worse story-wise, acting, like that's all bad, and it's still hard to watch. But I Am Here Now is definitely harder to watch and like is worse, way worse looking. Like it just the film overall, I Am Here Now is a straight downgrade from Double Down. Like I think it's no question there. But and then of course I share the same opinion that all of you do, and that Pass Through is the hardest to watch it. For a while there, I almost told people it was my favorite one, only because it's so painful. It's like I love the fact that this movie, to everyone I've showed it to, is, oh my gosh, when is this movie gonna be over?
Yeah.
Well, like that happens in Fateful Findings, sure. That happens in all the others. But everyone in Pass Through, you get like a half an hour in, and you're like, oh my gosh, dude, we've been here for like an hour. In half an hour. It takes way too long. It has such little going on. That movie just should not exist. That's not true. It wouldn't be.
It's great.
Impossible.
It needs to exist because it's part of Breen's legacy.
Great. The opening.
The opening is.
The first 20 minutes was gold, and I'm like, oh, he might have outdone Fateful Findings.
Maybe there's a movie to be had. Yeah, no, and then like after
the drone footage kicks in, and then you realize
like the 10 or 15 minute mark for me, I started to be like, ooh, we're in for a journey, aren't we?
The drone footage is a bit of a rough ride.
Drone footage is that honestly, I saw it and I was like, wow, he's doing something way different. I was kind of impressed.
It was a lot different, but there was like 5 or 6 times it cuts to this drone thing for several minutes, and he just like has a monologue that's not connected to anything. He's just saying what he's doing while he's doing it for some of them, and then some of them he's just like quoting people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, he gives various quotes from people throughout the whole movie, and I watched this with my buddy Tim, and he was like, it's so pretentious of him to like be quoting all of these famous people and like trying to be poetic and everything. He's like, it's so unbelievably pretentious and just it makes you so mad at
Trying
him.
to sound more clever than he really is.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna quote some smarter individuals and hope that makes me sound smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't possess any of the talent to pull it off, though, because he does not belong in the room with
He doesn't have enough sheer Breeenious to create it himself.
On the other hand, he's one of the most distinguishable directors of all time.
If you want to put it, is that what you call it?
Well, I'd say the same thing about Ed Wood. His movies are terrible, but they're very watchable. Go out and watch Plan 9 for Outer Space. You will not regret it. It's an experience.
I don't know, man.
Of all the
You
things,
stupid man.
of all the things for like this group to have, I'm glad Neil Breen is like the thing. Like nothing could have filled this spot. This is like Neil Breen is honestly one of the like best things that's happened to me in my adult life.
It's gonna be
so far.
It's gonna be.
It really is. Like just the amount of talking in times of laughter and showing this to people at school, and they're like, "How did you sit through this?" I'm like, "You're gonna find out."
Well,
Just wait.
You need to, because you got to suffer through it to enjoy it. But
Damn.
I think this is one of those things where a group of people might get together at 40, and somebody's gonna look at the other guy and go, "You remember that Neil Breen guy?" And everybody's gonna look at each other and just start laughing, if they know who he was. Well, especially get the boys back in
Yeah.
town. You go out and you just get a beer and you're sitting there. Yo, remember those Neil Breen movies? Oh my gosh,
Oh my god.
it's gonna be a crew of Breen guys,
A
man.
crew of Breen.
Next Breenious.
Breenions, right? His next movie's gonna be Minions, but it's Breenions. Breenions. Yeah.
I can't wait to see what his next movie is. I hope that it begins to tie up potentially running themes throughout his films. The guy in the black shoes. I know.
Now you need to know.
I have
It's
a
all
theory. Like
connected.
everyone's got their theory, but like I really hope he doesn't just leave it up to interpretation. I hope he does something with it because that would be great. That would be
I'd love for all of his
fucking great.
characters to meet each other at some point and be like, "Whoa, who are you? I'm you," but from another parallel universe.
trying to have him edit that, like seeing what the edit job he would do with that would be
Yeah.
absolutely insane. He would need like 3 times the budget.
If he ever hears this, the one thing I'd like him to hear is keep on making these things,
Neil Breen,
man.
Leaning
we love
on.
you, but like,
Yeah.
do you know that you're terrible?
He's his own style.
Do you even Breen, bro?
I've always wondered if he's self-aware.
Real human Breen
It'd be,
and a Breen hero.
it'd be really, really crazy to even see if Breen knows or not. Wow. If he's in on it, or he's like, I'm making masterpieces and these morons don't get it. I don't know.
I really do wonder. I would love to sit down and
Yeah.
because I don't think
You're
anyone's
stupid for
ever
not
asked him that
understanding
question.
the sheer
Like I don't think
genius that
anyone's
is
ever
Breen.
just been like, "Do you know that you're the worst thing ever?" And like, cause like, how do you do that? But like,
Well, yeah, I mean, that's also like, if you're actually getting to interview him, you'd be like, every move you've made is awesome. Like, that's the first place you're coming from. You're not going to be like,
Yeah,
you're the
no.
worst filmmaker I've ever seen. How did
someone's
you
got
do-"
to take the bullet and do it, and just see.
But
if
what
he
if it
defends
ruins him? What if he actually decides to try and get better, and because of it, it makes it worse? I almost wonder if that's what Pass Through was. He tried to make things better, and it just made it so
Oh
much
no,
worse.
that was his whole thing with Twisted Pair, and look at the gold mine we got out of it. So maybe it'd be a good thing.
Maybe.
Twisted. I don't know how that happens.
Oh, man.
Well, shit, man. The Breen Squanch, the Breen Nest Monster, Rapmaster Breen, the Breen Man, pure Breenious. I don't know if there's any other way to freeze his name. Well, not freeze, phrase his name.
Star Trek Into Breenness.
I mean, it's Breen-tastic.
It's amazing.
Breen
No, this.
American
If
heroes.
anyone is listening to this and has not watched any of Neil Breen's films,
Do it now.
find a way.
Cough.
Maybe if you have the money,
me.
pick one, buy it, watch it.
Breen
or you know
finds a
what?
way.
We're going to suggest the official release. go through the convoluted trail that is buying a movie from Breen.
No, do it.
Pay the $30
easiest
bucks.
one you're gonna get is Fateful Findings. Honestly, I think everyone should start with that one. And like, if you do, that's fine. Like, if that to you is like not worth your time, then you won't like any of the others, and that's fine. Don't watch any more of his movies. But like, if you think that you can survive, if you think that's funny enough that you can do it 4 more times, fucking do it.
Just
And
do
keep
it.
going.
Do it now.
Well,
Yeah.
we are almost an hour and a half in, and I
think it's
I
good.
think we're pretty good.
I think we
Covered a good
breathed.
I'm
amount.
okay with wrapping up the Breen.
In typical Breen fashion, we're gonna wrap up at an hour and a half.
Can I get a
Hey, there you go.
give me a slice of Breen onion? Not green onion.
Some
Give me that
Breen
Breen
cake.
onion.
At some point, I think we should rewatch The Room and then do a podcast on it.
Yeah.
Just talk
I
about it a
agree.
little bit. Not that it needs much more talking than it's already got, but like,
But we haven't talked about it.
let's do it anyway. Yeah. We'll do
Because we
that.
can.
Maybe we'll do its own episode for Twisted Pair. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
Like,
Yeah,
comment, and
because-
subscribe if you want an episode of Twisted Pair.
Please put in the comment section that you love me.
Don't put that in there.
Don't put that in.
Don't do
Nobody loves you.
that. That's true. Very true.
It's true. I tried a dating app for like 2 days and I only got like one match. And then everybody here's like staring me down. Bro, you got to struggle for like 3 years to get one date. Well, screw that, man. I'll just watch some Breen movies and cry.
Who needs dating when you've got Neil Breen?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yo, that should be the tagline on his movies. On like the back of the case, it should be like, quote, "Who needs movies when you got Neil
And if
Breen?"
you can't
No, who needs girls when
Breen
you got Neil
The
Breen?
one you love, honey. Breen the one you're with.
If you can't be with the one you love, be with Neil Breen.
Breen the one you're with.
Oh,
Breen the
jeez.
one you're with.
I think
This has been wonderful. I'm glad.
This-
I'm glad we had this podcast.
this has been the guys talking about Breen. We should just change the podcast name just right now.
Guys
Just be
talking about Breen.
we're
for
guys-
like a day.
Yeah.
Guys talking about Breen.
Guys
Like
talking
maybe
about
we'll blow. Maybe we'll blow up. People, Breen fans will be like, "Ooh."
You
We
have
should-
footage
we-
of us walking
We
around
like
in a
end
desert.
up. We like end up on Reddit because these guys are talking about Neil Breen.
Guys talking about Neil Breen. Oh.
All right. Well, is that? Are we good? Do we think we got everything we need?
I think
Yeah.
we got everything we Breen.
Shut
Well,
up,
guys.
Derek.
This was great, and hope to see you on the next one. Toodles.
Fabulous. No goodbye, Derek?
Fabulous.
This is it from the man in the hat, Derek.
This is
Wow.
Captain Chode, otherwise known as Alex.
Really? Your own outro? Are you fucking kidding me? Wow.
Who cares, man?
Derek with the man in the hat. Derek. Like you have some nickname on the show.
Tried to be classy.
He's trying to be. Oh, come
And then
on.
we've got the
Oh,
Chode
come on.
Meister
It's the
over
guy.
there.
We're
hat.
talking about
Derek.
Neil Breen. My channel subscribers are some of the craziest, creepiest people you'd ever want to meet. And I think they would even tell you that.
All like
All-
13 of them.
Whoa. 141 of them. Let's get that right. Let's get that right, bro.
Are we having a Return of the King moment that we try to end, but we can't? But we keep trying to end like 3 times.
It's
We
usually
have so
happens,
many
yeah.
stories going on. It's just like a Neil Breen movie. We're trying to wrap it all up, but we don't know how to.
All of
All
the
right.
subplots.
Derek, Alex, Josh. Bye.
Bye. Joshua the Lion. Or what was that?
What?
Joshua in the Promised Land is what it was.
Good joke.
That was a horrible movie. Oh, and Love on a Leash. I suggest both of those if you like
Love on a
turd
Leash,
movies.
That sounds like a like a 50
weird-
Shades of Grey like novel.
It actually kind of
actually
is.
is.
So we'll just leave you on that
I don't like
cliffhanger.
that you guys like
Love
that.
on
I
a
don't like that.
Leash. Ralph the Movie Maker did a review on that. And you can find the actual movie on YouTube, so
Go do
one or
that.
the other, or both.
Great. Bye.